Good day. My name is Ivan Descartin and I'm here to present to you my thesis proposal. Now, here's a question. How much of an export abaca is here in the Philippines? Well, the answer is quite sizable. According to Far Eastern Agriculture, our local abaca industry is the third largest producer of abaca fiber in the world, specifically accounting for about 85% of the overall global production in 2013. In addition, it also generates $800 million annually. However, despite these figures, there have been certain drops recorded in terms of prices and rate of production. From January to June 2013, the Performance of Philippine Agriculture report by the Department of Agriculture revealed that the gross value of abaca production is significantly lower, specifically 13.57%, due to decrease in production and the general lowering of prices. This is also exacerbated by problems encountered by the farmers themselves, such as lack of new technologies and planting techniques, financial and educational deficiencies, and turbulent socio-political climates in various abaca plenty areas. Issues with foreign competition abound, with both Ecuador and China stealing some of the thunder from the local abaca industry time and time again. This is corroborated by one of this study's key informants, Mr. Rodrigo Macasa, an abaca farmer from Samar who now resides in Marikina, who added that because abaca fiber is physically difficult to harvest, that is, they mostly rely on manual hand stripping, farmers opt to not plant abaca anymore. This is now in agreement with the data that abaca farming merely comprises 33% of a farmer's income, hardly their agricultural bread and butter. But still, abaca surges on as an export heavyweight, despite it not translating well in terms of the farmer's socio-economic self-perception. With all this in mind, it is the goal of this study to introduce the benefits of abaca farming to the municipality of Casibu in Nueva Vizcaya, a province not known for producing abaca yet is a perfect fit for growing it, through an egalitarian communication plan and also through the testing of a portable abaca stripping device. Afterwards, the change in perception would then be measured among the respondents and their acceptance of technology. Being evaluative in nature, the effects of these constituent elements would then be analyzed and observed through ethnographic means so that a clearer picture of what agricultural knowledge and technological development contribute to the rural folks' self-perception of their socio-economic status. The objectives of the study are as follows. Number 1. Introduce the benefits of abaca to the locus. Number 2. Facilitate the testing of the portable abaca stripping device. Number 3. Identify the extent of the respondents' acceptance or rejection of new agricultural technology. Number 4. Observe the changes or development incited by the variables mentioned with regard to the respondent's socioeconomic self-perception. Number 5. Learn about the respondent's preferred medium when it comes to information dissemination. This is to be identified in the pre-testing stage. And lastly, develop a series of communication materials to be phase validated by selected key informants. For the theories, the study will make use of Davis's technology acceptance model, Kendall and Holland's categories of self-verbalizations, and the MacArthur subjective social status scale. The technology acceptance model is proposed to explain why users accept or reject information technology. As a model, TAM helps in tracing how external variables influence a user's intention to use, and also his or her beliefs and overall attitude towards a particular technology. It is also important to note that TAM is in agreement with the idea that acceptance of technology is influenced by external factors, and vary or change depending on the degree of mediation or intervention spearheaded by a particular group or, in this case, researcher. According to Lyskak and Paré, internal conversations, often seen as a form of struggle, are said to formulate voices and multivocal selves that are associated with a variety of beliefs and values and are sometimes discrepant with each other. In addition, the role self-talk plays in solving problems of various forms are very well documented. Self-verbalizations, according to Kendall and Holon, are inextricably connected with problem solving. There are various categories. Number 1. Self-verbalizations allowing the formulation of a precise definition of the problem. Number 2. Self-verbalizations promoting an effective approach to the problem. Number 3. Self-verbalizations helping the subject to focus on the problem. Number 4. Evaluative self-statements the subject uses to either A. Praise himself or herself when a good solution is reached, and B. Readjust his or her strategy when an error is made. The MacArthur Subjective Social Status Scale, on the other hand, is a measure used to capture the sense of social status among people across various socioeconomic status indicators. This scale has two versions, the socioeconomic status ladder and the community ladder. For the purposes of this study, the latter would be used. According to Adler and Stewart, this scale presents a literal ladder for potential respondents to put an X on each step as a way to measure their subjective socioeconomic status perception. With these three concepts now combined, the study's conceptual framework looks like this. Now for the methodology part. With the conceptual framework firmly set in place, the researcher would then choose one barangay from the municipality with the respondents to be determined through quota sampling, a non-probability sampling technique wherein the total number of respondents would have the same proportions of individuals as the entirety of the population with regard to specific characteristics or phenomenon. The study's first stage now is to hand out questionnaires patterned after the MacArthur scale. This is to find out how the respondents perceive their socioeconomic status before the variables are introduced to them. These variables are namely the communication plan and secondly, of course, the abacus stripping device. The second stage, on the other hand, would then work on the communication plan in close collaboration, of course, with the community itself, specifically by taking some of the stakeholders' opinion on how it should be carried out. This phase would make use of the critical communicative methodology, a research methodology whose intention is to fully achieve, within a particular community, social learning and cultivation through an egalitarian type of communal dialogue. Afterwards, a series of in-depth interviews would then be conducted, with the goal being to help the respondents narrativize their experience in dealing with and or accepting or rejecting the information imparted to them by the communication plan. When this is done, the acceptance of the abacus stripper prototype would then be gauged through a series of focus group discussion or FGD. The portable abacus stripping device is an instrument co-created by Dennis Lampitok and Rodrigo Macasa, patterned after the FIDA-approved design by engineer Dick Ola. And then finally, after a period of a few months of the farmers utilizing the stripping device, plus the information about abaca that they've gotten from the communication plan, the researcher would then return to hand out MacArthur questionnaires once more, so that it may be found out whether or not the two variables have done something to improve or lessen their socioeconomic self-perception. This would then be followed, afterwards, by a series of in-depth interviews once more. So this concludes my video proposal. Once again, I'm Ivan Descartin. Thank you very much for watching.